Okay, excellent. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Just as a reminder, this is being recorded and it will be sent out after the presentation is completed. We ask that you stay on mute throughout the presentation. If you notice, there is a chat button down at the bottom. You could hit that. We'll keep an eye on the chat throughout the webinar. So if you do have any questions that pop up, please enter the questions down in there. We will respond to them. And before we get started, also, if someone could just give me a thumbs up or put in the chat to make sure my audio is coming through clearly, and the same for Karthik, we'd appreciate it. Okay, if we could just get one thumbs up or just a quick, I can hear you. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that. So today we are going to be covering how e-commerce brands get cited and converted. So as you know, the old SEO playbook is officially retired. We're no longer just fighting to rank number one on the search page. We're fighting to be the source of truth that an AI assistant uses to get its answers. So think of it this way: if ChatGPT, oh, you can go back to the first slide, Karthik. So think if like ChatGPT or Perplexity tells a shopper your product is the best, but links to a dead end page, you haven't won. So we're talking about revenue first AEO, ensuring that when you get cited, it leads directly to transactions. And then, so I'm joined today by my colleague Karthik in Atlanta. So let's go on to the next slide with our little introduction. So I'm Sean, I'm a CRO expert here, and I focus on the design architecture, making sure that once an AI routes our customers to your site, the page is built to close the deal immediately. And I'm joined by Karthik today. He's our CTO. He handles the technical truth layer, ensuring the product data, schema, and site infrastructure are so consistent that AI models feel safe recommending you. Thank you, Karthik, for joining. Okay. And today we're going to be looking at the table of contents. So we've broken the journey down into 7 phases. We'll start with the big discovery shift, how buying behavior has changed, then move into building systems that you need to get cited. And then the outcome focus will wrap up with the implementation plan, the exact top 10 pages every brand needs to build first to capture the new revenue channel. Okay. So for that new revenue channel, you notice citations only matter when they convert. A brand mention is a vanity metric, so routed demand is a revenue metric. So think of it this way: imagine a shopper asks an AI, "What's the most durable sofa fabric to a house with two large dogs?" If the AI mentions your brand but links to your homepage, it's a wasted citation. So if it links directly to your fabric durability guide, that proves your performance velvet is scratch resistant, that's routed demand, ready to buy. Or think of it also leading to a product that says like, hey, pet friendly material. It's going to be a more direct click and higher intent once they land on those pages. So what does that mean? It means that there's now a discovery shift. So with discovery shift, it's going from browsing to shortlisting. So the later click, think of it that way. And this year, the click happens much later within the journey. The decision is made inside the AI interface before they ever land on your site. So think of in the past when you were doing Google, you went to the search, you had to look through several different sites, several tabs open, you had to look for the relevant information. You did a lot of the manual work and the processing. Now, those answer engines and the generative engines, they're reading your intent, they're surfacing what they think is most relevant to you with links to that, your authorized sources that have been vetted, and it's going to lead you further down the discovery process once you hit those product pages. So we can go to the next one. Yep. So what is this shift changes for revenue? So if you're thinking, if you expect fewer exploratory clicks, but more decision clicks, your traffic might go down, but your intent goes through the roof. So think about the upstream preferences. So brands prefer preference is shaped while they're talking to the AI, not when they're looking at your product discovery pages. If you aren't the source that the AI cites for its pros or cons list, you're lost in the sale before it even started. So you're buried down in the results, you're not appearing in the AEO results, which means you're losing visibility. However, if you can appear within those searches, then there's more, how can I say it? There's less exploratory clicks, but it's a higher intent buyer when they are reading that information and then clicking onto your site. Okay, we can go through the next one. And right now, I'm going to pass it over to Karthik, and he's going to take it from here. Oh, and before I hand it over, does anyone have any questions before we go on? Okay, I'll take that meaning as we're good. And Karthik?
Sounds good, Sean. Thanks. And that was a great introduction. Let me continue from where Sean has left. Like, first, we'll discuss about the AI visibility model and selection filters. So, we'll start with the basics. There are two terms that is revolving right now in the from the marketing perspective when it comes to AI, which is AEO and GEO, which is answer engine optimization and generative engine optimization. AEO focuses on optimizing your content, so your website will get selected and cited directly inside answers that ChatGPT or similar engines provides, while GEO or generative engine optimization ensures your brand and product information is referenced when AI generates recommendations and comparisons. Okay, although they sound like different, they share the same outcome. So basically, it all depends upon like how your page, the source of truth, the AI relies when shaping the decision and answering the right questions. Okay. So, like, what does citable means? When AI looks for something to recommend, when I talk about AI, I'm talking about these engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity, those engines. It wants a page it can trust and understand quickly. A citable page is simply that clearly answers a buying question and also shows proof that the answer is true and tells the shopper with a definite call to action, like what to do next. Okay, so if you follow these criterias in the page, you are most likely to get citable on a particular question a customer asks about a particular the specific products that you sell, or or a brand that you are focusing upon. Okay. There are some issues here, like claims integrity model issues. Like AI refuses some pages, and based on something very simple. For example, when the claim makes sense and that cannot be trusted, right? First, there has to be a clear statement what you're actually promising. Second, we also need to state the proof of it, like how we are fulfilling the promise or the claim, like providing like proper specs or giving them like the policies or real explanations, what we have promised and how we are doing it. Okay, so when we miss these kind of content, if we just claim we are a specific industry, we are number one in an industry, that is not it works. We have to also give like evidences or proofs that supports the claim, including policy statements or reviews, lots of things, like these many reviews on the particular segment. So when you have the proper claim proof, the page will line up cleanly. AI is far more likely to recommend that particular page. Okay. And the major common mistakes like websites does is like their information doesn't line up everywhere. So when AI sees conflicting information across pages or systems, it simply avoids citing that particular brand altogether. So if if prices, specs, or variants are different from product pages, feeds, FAQs, or all the policy pages, then the AI trust metrics fails, and that then it will stop citing that particular brand altogether. So we have to make sure the consistency of the data and the information is same across the website. So those are key elements what we found. Now we'll talk about how we can build our pages, right? So we understood what needs to, I mean like how kind of AI is indexing our pages. Now let's see like technically how we can build a page to become citable. Okay, so the website, we need to act like a clear source of truth, not a collection of scattered answers. So this means we have to create dedicated decision pages that AI can come back again and again with important questions So one clear page, if it answers like multiple questions instead of overing over multiple versions or competing versions, that then AI, the possibility of AI coming back to the page and again for some other similar question is more. So as I said earlier, we have to answer the question, show the proof, and then guide shoppers quickly to the next step. It can be a product page or a comparison page or a checkout. When we have to organize the way AI exactly knows where to look and what to trust and what to cite. Okay, so the source of truth on a particular page is is the key. Like in case of real examples, like for example, the keywords like best versus questions, or there is a comparison, trade-off that we have to create. And whenever we put keywords like best, or like those kind of things, we have to give some references or proofs according to that, to improve the trust metrics of AI. Okay. And then also the category authority up template. So what is this? A category authority up is the page AI refers to site when someone is asking what should I buy? Like comparing things like what is the best kind of a shoe that matches my criteria, like for running. So when someone is puts a question like this, so instead of creating a generic collection page, we have to create from the question perspective, we have to create collection pages. Okay. And we have to, the page should answer the key decision questions. What is the category is and who it is for and how the customer will choose. Then we have to quickly route the shopper to the best fit or sub collection of that particular category. Okay, so to be citable, on the category page, we have to create collections or categories based on what kind of questions the users are asking about your products. Okay, and then what sections the like the hub must include, right? So this is a question, like when we create a category page, like what kind of sections we have to create. So we have to start by explaining what the category is in play, in a normal English. And then we have to show shoppers how to choose using a small set of clear filters. Instead of bombarding with lots of options, we have to make it like more narrow for that particular question with filters, and that will solve the purpose of that specific use case. Okay, so finally it should reduce risk by clearly explaining other factors like shipping, returns, warranties, include FAQs, that will avoid, like that will address all the real objections that shoppers might have, not like generic things. When all these pieces are in place, AI sees the page as useful, trustworthy, and then they increase the citing rankings for those particular pages. Okay. Like these are some real examples, like running shoes, like how you can answer, like these kind of, you can create collections based on that, like best running shoes for planter fest. So this is a question most of the customers are asking, so then we have to create a collection around it, right? So now so if someone is, the another question is like people are comparing between two kind of a product, we have to create a hub or a page that answers that, and how safe it is for sensitive skin. And then we have to take the customer to the next stage. Okay, like similar to this, like comparison between two different kind of a material in a sofa, or like if it is an electronic, but again, like compare, there's feature comparisons, right? Transparency or any other aspects. So we have to understand the current questions the customers are asking for that particular category or a product, and then we have to initiate or create collections and call to action items or pages according to that for AI to index our pages better. And then like again, like the same thing, then this is the next step, like routing the users, right? once we have taken them to the right pages, then we have to make sure that we are taking them to the next set of call to action, like putting the integrating with the PDP page, or putting a directly taking them to a cart checkout page, or like taking them to a different call to action, like a cross reference page. So we have to see, depends upon the product and the questions they come in, we have to create like separate funnels inside the website for the customers take the right call to action on the website. Okay. And then we also need to, this is a sample like comparison page template, like again a real-time example that we have added here, that resolve like comparisons when, because they complete decision, right? So when someone is asking a question on comparison, so we have to conclude a decision that in that particular page. Okay, and we also have to tell like why we have concluded that information with valid statements and proofs. Okay, and then we have to also focus on decision criteria, like what would make the customer to make the decision, right? So add clear recommendations for buying that particular product, what would be the right kind of a decision the customer would be making, right? So those kind of things have to be answered on those pages. And also this is again like spec, like we when you create a spec, this is for more for like B2B businesses, or like bigger products, like which has like a spec sheet or like feature sheet that is associated with that particular product. We have to create a proper canonical spec source that everything is pulled from there, and standardize the attribute names and definitions and features across the website, making sure every data is consistent in FAQs, spec sheets, and descriptions and everywhere. And make sure the compatibility is clearly explained, and also add a glossary so specs can translate into decisions. Okay. So this is again a spec checklist, like for with real-time examples. This is what we can go into. So I'll go on to the next item called like policy trust. This is a very key factor. Like we can again and again we are re-insisting, because there is a AI metrics that calculates a trust factor for each page, and your website is cited only based on that particular key trust factor. Okay, so these are not any legal documents or anything, like they are directly what is directly will impact the conversion, whether the AI will cite you or not. These pages should be written to help shoppers make decision. Okay, so like by clearly explaining the returns, warranties, and shipping in plain language. Okay, like restocking fees, exceptions, or final sale rules. Everything should be put upfront. There should not be any like hidden kind of informations on the returns or warranty claims. Everything should be spelled out step by step, so there is no uncertainty to the end user. Okay, so when policies are clear and honest, the trust AI factors improves, and the citation percentage will also be improved. Okay. And this is again like what are the areas that we can create the trust factor, like for example, if the shipping information like cutoff, delivery windows, threshold, exceptions, on the return, like the window label, cost, exchanges, all those final sale rules, and informations like warranty, like coveraging, durations, claim steps, exclusions, authenticity, where we have like any kind of accreditations that we have achieved for the product or patents. So all those things have to be thoroughly put on the page. Okay. Structured packaging is about making your best pages easy for AI to understand, like how you can package your pages, like for them to trust and understand. That start with one clear preferred URL for each topic, so there are no confusion or duplicates. Strong internal linking then guides AI and shoppers through the decision path and funnels inside the website, from where they are landing to the different funnels, and finally taking them to the corresponding product pages. While structured data matches exactly what's written on the page, finally we have to make a consistent naming for products, models, and variants across the websites. Okay, So that's basically like how you have to package your website or pages to make AI to cite your website. Okay. And the selection item checklist is basically, about removing small mistakes or that that will lose the trust factor, making sure every topic points are with real source page, avoiding duplicate pages, and ensuring the data is again consistent across the website. So, and also simple mismatches like different warranty lengths on the product page and policy page, or like a battery claim that doesn't match on a particular page. So all those things needs like smaller errors, like the things might have changed, the page would have been updated long back, and when a product page is changed and some other related content on another page we would have forgotten to change. So we have to make sure all these things are quite consistent, internal linkings are properly done, so that AI feels safe selecting your pages, and those small fixes translate directly into better visibility and higher intent traffic. Okay. And again, like on the building aspect, winning. So if it is an ongoing process, AEO is not an like one time done. So it needs structure and focus on a regular basis. We should review the most important questions consumers are asking continuously on the website. Are there any question pattern changes from the customer buying criteria perspective? We need to understand that, and based on that we have to create content, change the page structures, and improve the trust factors across the website. So at the same time, we also we have to make this progresses little faster, because this AI engines are not like humans, like the like one agent might communicate with another agent. So we have to have like these changes to be done proper according to faster, according to the changes in trends and questions the consumers are having on your products. So there is also, we can create this by having a scoring and sequencing kind of tools that are available. So where you can score, the AEO readiness for each page, and they will also give the proper trends and questions on that particular product. So based on that, we can have the see the readiness score and change the content and keep it up to date on an ongoing basis. Okay. So now we have seen like what is AEO and what are the key things that we need to consider when building pages so that your website is ready for these engines. And now let's see like if we have done all this effective things correctly and we are bringing the traffic to the site, and what needs to be done to convert the traffic, convert that AI routed traffic. Okay. So one common, kind of a issue what we have seen when AI sends visitor to your site, there is a huge drop off because people aren't interested or they are not the right traffic. Okay, this happens because the page makes the decision harder than it should be. For example, if shoppers don't get a fast, clear answers or can't see the proof that supports the claim, then that reassurance should happen on the page, like based on your data. AI, consumer has asked a question to the AI engine, and with some specific criteria, like for example, a guideline or a warranty or a specific things. And when they couldn't find that particular answer directly on the landing pages or the product pages, that loses the confidence, and then there is the drop of rate increases. So we have to make sure our citations, like what we are receiving, those informations are thoroughly added onto the page. Okay. So if instead of making it more generic, we have to be making it based on the citations, we have to make it more specific. Okay. So like instead of having like confusing variants, noisy reviews that don't explain why something is good, or call to action that appear before trust, will also will have friction. So we have to create that, action. The call to action has to be kept in a place after we create the trust to the user, after they land on the website. Okay. So like so that is the main, like no fast answers, no risk reducer, no proof, or no confident call to actions. So that is the, main reasons, like we see like leakages happening on the traffic that comes to the website after after they have done all the aspects of product discovery. They have got the right answers from the engine. We also have the content, but they might be in a different place, and now we have routed them to all altogether a different page. So that might cost a confusion on the customer, and they would drop off immediately. Okay. So yeah, like these are the major things, like wrong first screens, page just starts generic, not decision specific, no fast answers. Basically, they couldn't get which one should I buy quickly. They have to do again a research on the website, which people will avoid, and they will go back to ChatGPT or similar engines. And like we have claimed that we have achieved this, but there is no measurable support or proof to that. And there are lots of risks unclear, like return shipping, warranty not visible at the decision moment. And the also see, choice overload is not a factor. Like if you have the proper product discovery aspect on your website, choice overload is definitely not an issue. Like having filters, or like AI based search, or chat engines. There are different ways the consumers can do a product discovery after they land on your website. Okay. So we have to make sure, depends upon the product lines, the complexity of your product structures, taxonomy structures, how we can simplify that to the user to make the quick decision, or to narrow down their search and get to the right products. Okay. Again, like variant confusion is part of the product choosing, having proper variants and size based on the customer requirement. And reviews or ratings are very good, but at the same time we have to make sure it matches with the probably based on from what questions they have come in, we can show those reviews on the top. So we cannot keep like general reviews always on the top. Based on what the consumer is interested, those things can be brought to the top. Okay. And as I said, this call to action also have to be put in a place after we, completely, help the customer understand what they wanted and build the trust factor. Then we keep the call to action button. The probability of making a transaction is more. If we have the call to action button at the beginning stages itself, then people might not end up buying. They will mostly, they will ignore the call to action buttons. Okay. So these are some techniques again, like to simple kind of tidbit kind of a techniques, like start by mirroring the exact question in the headline, like what questions the customer have searched and they come to your website. If you could mirror the exact question on the headline, followed by a summary that clearly says like what are the options available. And then instead of overwhelming with all the products, putting the specific filter sections for them to narrow down the search, and then making the decision process more clear and easier. And also place like proof and risk reducers right next to the key claims and call to actions. Okay. So also reviews should highlight why products are good, and also what, based on what questions the customer has reached out, we have to highlight those reviews. And also like help shoppers filter down based on their fit or compatibility. Those kind of things have to be done properly. Okay. And finally, keep choices simple with just a strong call to action. And or like if there is a product that needs to be compared, also make sure the comparison is proper, especially addressing the question the consumer is having, that will make their decision faster. Okay. I'll pass here for any questions. From Jim, one quick question: which AI engines are you considering to be part of the decision cycle? Obviously, people can be asking Chat, Claude. Yeah, you're right. Like Jim, like we are primarily focusing on ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, and there are also other agentic AI engines which communicate with themselves on the AI cycles. So we are also considering that we can also send you a list of agent. When we do the AI audit, we'll also be sharing you like what is a list of engines that we are considering for the audits, but primarily ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity from the consumer perspective. That's a great question. Okay. So the next important thing is experimentation. So when you make all these changes, we have to make sure we do some proper A/B testing around it. So we have to do continuous testing to make sure what we are putting in the right spots are really helping on the conversion side. Okay, so we need to test specific changes with clear success criteria instead of guessing items. So there are lots of A/B testing tools available, like which we can use it for experimentation, starting from the above the fold decision making area, or the putting the sections like reviews, risk reducers. So all the different, these are just examples of what we are showing here. So we have to do thorough A/B testing. At least we need to do like 2 to 3 weeks of A/B testing for one particular variant, and we have to measure its success, and we always keep the highest success kind of a tested result on as a permanent change on the website. And we also need to do, like, whenever we make changes or the consumer buying pattern changes, we have to continuously tweak the website and experiment it and make A/B testing and make sure the website is clearly helping the audiences from the conversion perspective. When you wanted to improve the conversions, A/B testing is a very key important factor that we would highly recommend. There are also heat maps tools like micro open source tools like Microsoft Clarity, which you can add, where it will also records the every user's behaviors and shows the data in a heat map analysis format, where you can understand where on each page customers are spending more time, where they are bouncing out, where they are not, that less traction is there. And when if some reason people are scrolling down and searching for particular information, we have to make sure that we are bringing those kind of information to the top. So those kind of analysis have to be done for all those changes, so that we have a more decision oriented kind of a website and pages, rather than pages based on guessing. So the last part is like measuring the impact. Like first you so like there are three part to it. Like first visibility tracking, and then routing to the website, and then the revenue generation, right? So there are three aspects to it. Visibility tracking is where AEO and GEO comes into place, where we will be seeing how often our brand is shown up in AI answers, and which pages are being cited. Next, once we have clearly done that visibility part, then we have to do the routing part, like how many sessions are coming from AI, how deep users clicks into one when people come to the from AI, like how many people are going deep into the product pages, and how many people are adding it to the cart. Finally, we have to focus on the revenue metrics like conversion rate from the routed visitors, revenue per session, average order value. All those things have to be effectively measured to get the right results. Combining AI and AEO and CRO experiments will be able to achieve that. Again, like there are lots of things that we have to do because of the trend changes and the AI kind of involvements that are happening. But there are tools and processes we can implement which will simplify this process. And we can also consider it, instead of not making changes to all the pages, we can take the top 10 pages that you wanted to rank, focus on that, create strategies, visibility strategies and routing strategies around that. One Small steps, one page at a time, will also be with all this A/B testing and other aspects, through which we'll be able to definitely make a bigger impact down the line, longer line. As we said, it's not a a single time process. AEO and GEO is going to be an ongoing effort that we have to do continuously to make our website up to date and matching the criteria from consumers as well as from this AI engines. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Jim. So yeah, the key takeaways, like as I said, we have to create like three criterias like visibility, routing, and conversions. And so we are currently conducting like AEO complementary audits for for the audience that they have attended here or people who are interested. So if we will also have tools that gives you a AEO readiness scores for your top pages that you wanted to rank. So if whoever is interested, like we'll be sharing the webinar link along with the recordings, so you can book us a time, or Sean and team will also be reaching out to you if you're interested. We can also do a complimentary audit on our side. Okay. And I have a question. But when stores which have large catalogs, on what point does individual product content come into play? Yeah, so for larger catalogs, so it has to be more at the category level, Jim. Like it is not at the individual product level, as I said. We have to work on the what kind of questions or comparisons customers are asking to the AI engines, and based on that, we have to create the landing pages at the category level or at the brand level. And then we have to do the routing inside the website from the conversion standpoint to take them to the product pages with those filters, product discovery changes, and adding this conversion elements to take them to the product pages. Okay, it cannot be like directly to the product pages. If you direct them directly to the product pages, the probability of buying is very less for larger catalogs. Okay. And from the OEM or manufacturer data, those things can also be indexed so that those data is also replicated on the content. It doesn't need to be shown on the website for AI to understand. Even if it is in a PDF or a different format, AI understands that. But the key pointers for the consumers to understand, we have to put it on the page. Great question. Any other questions? Sean?
Nope, I am good. I think you covered everything. Excellent job.
Sounds good. So, as I said, we will share the webinar presentation as well as the recording to everyone who have attended. There are also other folks from LinkedIn attending, so that's why you're not seeing them here. So we'll send all this information, and based on the interest, we'll schedule like individual calls and do the AEO audit, and we'll go from there. And me and Sean will meet you in some other webinar soon. Thank you, everyone, for joining.